Every single day, someone somewhere on Instagram, on YouTube, in my Facebook group, somewhere somebody says, "What makeup do you use? I'd love to know your makeup tips. What are you using? How does your face look so bright?" First and foremost, I have to say, like, natural light is where it's at. I'm sitting in front of a window right now in my bathroom, but I also do want to show you guys what you want. So today I'm going to do my makeup on camera. It's kind of a long video, but I'm going to show you everything I use, how I apply it, and from start to finish. So you get to see my like not makeup face all the way to my normal makeup look. So that's what we're going to do today. Stay tuned. Alright, so welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Jessica Stansberry, and my mission in life is to help you get out of your own way so you can do what you were put on this earth to do. And one of the ways that we get in our own way is by not feeling comfortable in our skin, not feeling like we're pretty enough to be on camera, not feeling like our makeup looks good enough, or our hair, or whatever. And so constantly I'm getting asked, like, what makeup do you use? Can you give us a makeup tutorial? That kind of thing. And while that is not the norm of my channel, that's what I'm gonna do today. So if you're new here, just know this is not my normal type of video, but hopefully it'll be really helpful. And I'm going to show you the actual products I use and how I use them specifically for when I'm going to be filming or getting on camera, because I do a couple of things a little differently if I'm just doing like an everyday, like going to town makeup look. I'm just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna cut to me 30 minutes ago when I started this video with zero makeup on. All right, so let's just get started putting on this face. Before I totally like get into the makeup part, I use this stuff every single day. Oh no, is it gonna be hard to see? It's Saint Tropez Self Tan Bronzing Water Face Mist. And I mean, it doesn't give me enough color to really matter. And so if like you're darker complected, I don't think it would work well for you. But for me, I'm very pale. So any bit of color really helps and like kind of makes my face look glowy, if you will. So this stuff is great. I apply this every morning. The other product that I have that's similar is this Isle of Paradise. Again, I'm sorry, the lighting in here is rough. There we go. This Isle of Paradise self-tanning drops, and you put this in your moisturizer before you put it on your face. I like this, but I like this better. One, I like the way it feels better, but also I think it gives better results. But this has darker colors, so if you like have a darker complexion, I would say go with this. Now remember, I'm linking everything below. This is such a frequently asked thing for me that I'm just gonna link all the things below. And I'm sitting in front of a window right now, and my mirror is like over here. Like there's no way for me to like look in the mirror and look at you guys. So what I'm gonna do is show you kind of what I do with what I can in this camera view. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at the camera. And looking at the screen I can see myself in. So I'm gonna try my best to do this, but I'll probably speed up parts where I have to look in the actual mirror or just cut them out completely, but I'm gonna show you everything that I use. So first and foremost, put that on my face, and then I just moisturize. I don't have a favorite moisturizer right now. I'm using Clinique's Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. Nothing fancy. I actually also have number 7 Day Cream, and I really like it as well. But I just kind of alternate. There's no rhyme or reason. I take care of my skin, but I don't have like a favorite thing to take care of my skin except for these RE9 Prep Work under eye like things. So they look like this on the inside, and they're just like those normal like under eye teardrop looking things, and they help depuff. And I will say these are from Arbonne. I will say they work the best of any I've tried, and I keep them in the refrigerator, so they're really cold when I apply them, and it really helps, like it just feel like it depuffs my face. So there's that. All right, so first and foremost, I put on my foundation, and I'm gonna show you a couple of foundations that I use. One is, and the one I use the most, is this NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation, and I'm using it in L2. If I wasn't applying this stuff, I would have to use it in the lightest shade. Then the other one that I really like is the Bare Minerals Liquid Foundation. I have used Bare Minerals since I was a kid, well, since I was like a teenager. but I always use the powdery stuff, and this liquid is really, really, really good. I also use it in the second shade, so Dawn too, but this is just their Performance Wear Liquid Foundation. Both of them are great. Both of them stay for a really long time, but I find that this one covers better, so usually when I'm getting on camera, I'm going to use this one. So yeah, oh, I forgot one thing really quick. So I just started using this Dermalogica. My sister got it for me. She works at a spa here locally. So it's Dermalogica Hydra Blur Primer. It is really, really, really good, and basically it blurs your pores, as well as kind of like matching your skin. I don't know what the technology is called, but it kind of matches your skin, and like, so you can leave it if you just want to wear this. Like if you're going for like a no makeup day, you can like just wear this. So what I do is I just take like a tiny drop and I just rub it on this part of my face, and then I take another tiny drop and rub it on my forehead, and another tiny drop on the other side of my face. And it's just a primer for my makeup, but it also kind of like gives me that Photoshop finish to blur everything out, but it kind of just helps blur everything. And it's not like a normal primer, I don't think. So normally for me, if I use like in primers I've bought in the past, you just use like the tiniest little bit and it goes for forever. This I do use like a dot like in all 4 of these areas, and then just kind of blend in is essentially what I do. But it creates, and I don't know if you can tell, but it kind of blurs like everything going on over there. And I'll link it below as well. My sister got it for me in a spa here locally. Again, it's kind of hard to see. But I know they sell it at Ulta, because I actually tried to buy it at Ulta and they didn't have it in stock, which is why I had my sister get it for me. So for the foundation, I use a Beauty Blender. This is not Beauty Blender like brand name. This is just like a generic one from Amazon, which I will link below. They're the best. They come in a huge pack like this, and there's a bunch of them in. I think there's like 6 or 7 in it. So what I do though, and this is a trick that I learned from a beauty blogger that I follow on Instagram. I believe it was Courtney Shields. I'll link her below. But basically I wet this and then I take a towel and like squeeze it out. So I will like wet it, just like barely run it under the faucet, and then I take and squeeze it with a towel. So it's damp. It's not like sopping wet, it's just damp. And then I take my foundation and I put dots all over my face, and then I blend it in with the Beauty Blender. So I just kind of like do this little number. This is going to be really hard to do in the camera, but I'm going to try. So I just do this all over my face. And I might take one more little dot here. Okay. Then actually, let me get my little clip for my hair so it doesn't get all over me. So then I just take my fingers, I'm looking in the mirror. I just take my fingers and like start blending it, and then I finish it with the Beauty Blender. So I'll show you what that looks like. So basically I just kind of like start blending it with my fingers so that everything is kind of where I'm gonna want it. I don't do anything fancy here. I just literally like make the dots turn into like actual places where the foundation is. So then I take the Beauty Blender and I just dot like this. Like I just go back and forth all over my face, and like make sure it's in everywhere it needs to be. So I don't really go heavy under my eyes. It's more just like everywhere else, because I'll show you what I do under my eyes in a minute. But I just kind of use this and blend, 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 blend. So I'm going to take a break for a second and go to my mirror because I can't see what I'm doing. But I'll come back with it all blended. Okay, so it's all blended up. The reason that you want this damp is because it doesn't soak in as much of the product. It leaves most of it on your face. But also it kind of adds like a dewy look, which is always good. So the next step is probably my favorite step of all the steps in the whole world. And it's this Tarte Shape Tape. It's concealer. It's amazing. And I get it in the very, very, very lightest shade. So I use it to highlight like all under here. and cover up. You can see I have bags under my eyes. Cover up those bags. And then anywhere I have like a zit or something, I put it there too. So what I do is I just barely take a little bit of the product, like not much at all, like just a little bit. And I do this under my eyes, just like that. So sometimes I make an actual triangle. Sometimes I just do dots like this. Like it just depends on the day and how I'm feeling. Also, if I don't use like foundation, and I'm just using like a BB cream or something that's gonna add a little color, but like I'm not gonna wear foundation that day, I will usually use a little bit more here just to like brighten it up even more. But I do the same thing in this part that I did in my foundation. I dab it in first with my finger and then use the beauty blender to dab it in. So I just kind of like use one of my non-strong fingers, because that's something I learned a long time ago, was you don't want to use like your pointer finger or your middle finger to dab things in under your eyes, because they have more like strength, and that could like cause your eye bags to be worse. But then I take the beauty blender and I just do the same thing under here. I just dab it in. I take it all the way down to like my cheek right here, and then all the way up over here. And then I actually go over my eyelid and in that crease of my eye right there too. And that's just to kind of make my whole eye look really bright. Beauty bloggers are probably gonna have a field day with this video because it's probably not like correct, but like you've been asking over and over about my makeup. So I figure I'll just do one video in one place and we'll be done. So basically that's all I do. I just blend it in from like the corner of my eye down to like right here and then up. So it's just kind of like an upward motion, and then take it over my eyelid and in the corner of my eye. So I'm gonna stand up and make sure this looks okay. So then what I do is, just with what's left on the beauty blender, like of the concealer, like I don't put extra on. I just kind of take it over the bridge of my nose right here, just to kind of make my nose, this part, make it a little brighter. And as you can see, like you can still see my bags up under my eyes right there. All right. So, and by the way, guys, I tell people this all the time when they ask me on Instagram is, sure, I mean, I'll share my makeup tips with you, but really where it comes down to, it's just really good lighting. I get in front of a window when I'm doing anything, any kind of videos, any kind of anything. So just know that. All right, next I have like setting powder that I use. So I just have a big old brush. This one, I don't even know where it's from, Real Techniques. I think I got it at Walmart. Or Target or somewhere. But basically this is just Bare Minerals Mineral Veil. You don't have to use this at all. I just really like it. It's a really fine powder. It's a really, really, really fine powder. And this one is the Illuminating Mineral Veil. I actually have both the Illuminating and the original somewhere. Here's the original. So they look the same, but this one is kind of a matte finish, and this one is kind of, it gives you, it almost adds sparkles to your face, but it gives you a little bit of like a glow. I use this one every single time I'm going to be on camera. So what I do is I just put a little bit in the lid, dab it around, and first I apply it under my eye and on my nose where I just put that concealer to kind of set that. So I just kind of do that. Nothing fancy there at all. And then I get just a little bit more and I go over the rest of my face, down my neck. And this just kind of adds, well, for one, it sets my foundation so that my foundation doesn't like rub off throughout the day. I can usually, like with this foundation and this like everything I'm doing, I can usually go to the gym and leave and it doesn't really look that much different. And I go to CrossFit and sweat really hard, so it works. But I will just like check under my eyes and make sure that like there's no creases or whatever under my eyes. And then we start on all the like accent stuff. So this blush is just a butter blush is what it's called. It's from Physicians Formula, which you can buy at Walmart. And I have it in shade Vintage Rouge. And I just take one of these angled brushes, get a little bit of it, and then I actually start up here and then I take it down into the apple of my cheek. I just feel like it gives it a little bit more of a natural glow. And you can see the difference in this cheek and this cheek now. When I'm going to be on camera, I apply more than I would if I wasn't going to be on camera. Like if I was just like headed to town or whatever, I probably wouldn't put this much on. But I just kind of dab it in there and give my cheeks like a little bit of a rosy glow. Then, and sometimes I do this in the opposite order. Sometimes I do it in that order. It just depends. This is a Physicians Formula. It's broken. Bronzer. And it has darker shades here and lighter shades over here. And I just take another one of those big brushes. This one's also Real Techniques, I think. So I take another one of those big brushes and I like get what I can of the bronzer in the dark shades here. They actually have a butter bronzer from Physicians Formula that I want to try too. But my Walmart never has it, so I'm going to have to get it on Amazon. But for the most part, I just use any bronzer I can find. But I just kind of swirl it in it like that. And I go under here, up and around to my forehead, down to this area to like define it a little bit. On both sides I do that. It's like a 3, so it's like here under my cheek though, like not where the blush is, under here. And then I'll show you what I do with like the rest of it. So I'm just gonna do this and then go up here and then right here. And I actually take it down to my neck because yo girl is pale and I need all the help I can get. So there it is there, over my head, down right here, and then down my neck. So like that's what I do with my bronzer. And you can tell there that it's a little bit like darker in this area. And that's just kind of to contour my face. Then what I do is I actually get a little bit more on the brush. I squeeze the brush and I do like this on either side of my nose. And that's just kind of, again, to contour my nose a little bit, but that's really it. I mean, it really doesn't make, like if I'm looking in the mirror, it really doesn't make that big of a difference, but on camera, it definitely does. So you can see like the blush and the bronzer really made a big difference to the way the light is hitting my face, and with camera work, that's really important. So then I do my eyeshadow, and I have this huge palette from Morphe. It is their Artistry palette, and it's broken because I have dropped it 100 times, but it's got all of these colors in it. But I only use a couple of the colors. And what I do is I grab this brush here. It's just a fluffy brush, like nothing fancy. This one I actually think is from Bare Minerals, but nothing fancy. And I grab one of these like lightest shades here, like super light flesh tone shade, and I put it everywhere. So like all over my whole eye like that. Then I either take the same brush, or I have this like brush set from Jaclyn Hill by Morphe, or vice versa, and I'll take another like fluffy brush. It really just depends on the day, but usually I use the same brush because I'm lazy. And I will get one of for me, I have brown eyes, so for me I need like purples and things like that. Like browns look good in purple, so if I'm gonna be on camera, I go a little darker because it accentuates it more. So I'm going to get this purple right here, and mix it with like a lighter purple. So I just get a dab of that and then a dab of the lighter. And then it's gonna be hard to do on camera. I go in the corner of my eye, like this corner, and then up into the crease. I don't go all over my eye. So I just kind of go here and then up into the crease. And I'm not pushing very hard because I don't want it to be like extremely dark. So let's see how that works. So you can see that like added a bit more definition to my eye, but I just kind of do it in the corner and then up into the crease. And if I need to get more of the color, I will. And then I do the same thing on the other eye, corner, up into the crease, and that's really it. I'm gonna make sure in the mirror it looks halfway decent though. Now, I've actually seen beauty bloggers who will do their eyes first because of the like powder that falls down onto your face. I don't do that, but what I will do is I just kind of like brush the powder away, usually with like one of these brushes that I used, just kind of brush it away. And then I'll take my beauty blender and kind of do that again, just to kind of get anything that fell off my brush while I was doing my eyes onto my cheek and get it to go away. Okay, so that's really all I do to my eye. Well, that's all I do to my lid. So then I do take these brushes that I got. Again, everything's linked below. So I take this little one that is, it's just a blunt end, like it's tiny. And it's just a blunt end there. And I dip it into this very, very lightest, whitest shade. So I just kind of dip it in there and I put it on the corners of my eyes. So just kind of like right there. And I do that on both eyes. You guys are really getting an up close and personal look at my face today. All right, so I just kind of do that on both eyes just to kind of brighten those corners up. That's it with that. Then I take this brush, which is flat. It's like super, super, super flat. And I dip it in that same color, the same dark color I put on the top of my eyes, which for me is this purple right here. And I just kind of get a little bit of it and put it underneath the like bottom lashes. So just like that. If I get done with this and I look like a normal person, we'll be doing good. Because this is not the best mirror. So I'll just do that to the other eye. And I don't go like all the way across. I kind of stop where my lashes stop and just kind of accentuate that. So that's really it for eyeshadow. And then what I do, a couple of things here. So I just take a regular eyeliner. This is Maybelline Unstoppable. Nothing crazy. It's just black. And I just kind of do like the corners on my waterline. Nothing fancy there. Just the corners. I don't take it all the way out like Britney Spears from 2000 whatever. I also do the top corner waterline. Again, you guys are getting an up close and personal look here. But so my eyes, the way they're shaped, I just really like that. You may or may not like yours to look like that, but that's what I do. So then I take, this is my favorite mascara ever. You can buy it at Walmart, Target, like all the places. It's just L'Oreal's Lash Paradise. Very important tip, you do not need the waterproof. The waterproof is crap. And this stuff is pretty waterproof, even though it's not waterproof, if that makes sense. But then they also sell the voluminous primer. Sometimes they'll sell it as a set, sometimes you have to buy it separately. But I use both of these, especially if I'm gonna be on camera. If I'm not on camera, I don't usually use the primer unless I'm just going somewhere where I really want my eyes to like pop. But I just put like a coat on. You can see it goes on white, but you put a coat on there. And you let it dry for like a second. I mean, not long at all. Usually what I do is by the time I'm done putting it on both eyes, I can start on the other eye. So then I just take the mascara and I apply like 2 to 3 coats to my eyes. So like there's one coat on that eye. And I just blink and like pull it up through there. That's all I do. Okay, so then I apply another coat, and I focus more on the end over here because that's gonna like make my eyes look the way I want them to look. So there's that. Another coat here. But I mean, that is like the best mascara I think I've ever used. And then I just kind of take what's left over on the brush and I do my bottom lashes and I just kind of barely give them like a little coat. Again, if I wasn't on camera, I probably wouldn't do this. So since we're focusing on like what I do on my camera days, that's what I do. So my face is basically done. And then I will do some lips. Now I have a couple of different things I want to show you on the lip circuit. Hold on, let me pull this down. I just dumped half my stuff out of my... I literally don't have a fancy system either. It's just all in a basket. But this is not the color I use. I don't know where that is. But basically, I will use a couple of different things sometimes. So this Super Stay from Maybelline is the best stuff. This is not the color I normally use. I think the one I normally use is like Petunia Plum or perpetual plum or something like that, but it's just a color on one side and then a gloss on the other. It reminds me of that stuff everybody sold there for a while, Lip Sense. So I really like it. All right, but lately what I've been doing is like something even easier, and I usually put some kind of like lip gloss on first, but then this is a Maybelline, nope, it's a MAC lip liner in the color Soar. It's kind of what my lips look like naturally. And then the same thing with this color. This is a Clinique lipstick that I bought probably 100 years ago. I ain't even playing. I don't even know how old it is. It's called Twilight Nude, and it looks like that. Like that's the color of it. And then that's the color. It's kind of the same color of the liner. And then I have this NYX or NYX, I don't know what you call it, butter gloss in this like really pale pink color. So I'm gonna line my lips and then I'll come back, but basically I just like line my lips. I don't overline my lips. I already have big lips. I don't need help with that. But then I just fill it in with this and put a little bit of gloss on top. All right, so my lips are lined. All I've done is put that liner on, and then I just take this lipstick and fill it in. And I do it really lightly, and that's it. I don't want my lips to I don't like the look of like a heavy lip for me. So I don't want them to look crazy. And then I just use the butter gloss so that they are not like super matte finish, which they're already not, but I just kind of put like the tiniest bit, because this could be used by itself. And on days where I don't wear a lot of makeup, I do use this by myself or by itself. But basically that is it. And this video is 100 years long, but if I'm not talking through it and like sitting in a weird place and like trying to figure out the camera, I usually do my makeup in about 10 minutes, if that. So it's so second nature to me now that it's super easy. I hope that was really helpful. I'm gonna link everything I used below, and hopefully this will be a good resource that I can point people to say like, okay, if you asked about my makeup, go over here. I have a whole video about it. So until next time, hit subscribe, because I don't want you to miss any other tips and tricks to help you live the life you were meant to live. Bye, y'all.